Before I knew I was a songwriter, I think there was permission. I was given permission to be a creative. I grew up in this family, like we all have different personalities, different gifts, but we had a lot of freedom to explore our creative gifts in different ways. Some, my brother's into sports, one brother's into computers, my sister's into like yoga and all this stuff. So we all took different forms within our work, but I think it was a picture for me that creativity can look a lot of different ways. And when we have diversity of people's stories and gifts, then we come together and we realize you wouldn't have to be a songwriter to manifest your creativity. And sometimes there are a lot of things that are creative, we don't really call them that. Creative is really closely connected with our humanity. And as we move into the future and technology speeds up and our world speeds up, I think remembering that part of what it means to be human is to be first loved by a creative God who has this he is the abundant source of imagination, and then he begins to impart that to us, and he's already planted it in us, but he kind of draws it out by these different experiences we have in our lives. So whatever your vocation, the hope is not that you would become a songwriter or a painter, but that you would see God's creative hand at work in your vocation, and that would begin to open up into some new spaces that you never imagined before.
What are you called? What is your natural place? What is your name? And where did you fall? Where have you hidden away? Feeling so brave.
A few years ago, I went to Ireland with some friends and had a day off, and we were on the north coast, and there was an old castle that had been broken down. It was basically real grass and beautiful green grass, lush, and sheep were out in the field. But there were parts of the castle that were still there. There were these stones that just looked ancient, and places where you could tell where the rooms had been lived in, and who knows what happened there. But I was really struck by the places where you would move from one room into another room, you'd see these, like, the old stones would show a threshold. And I thought about how many times we walk through a season. You're in one space, and then you have to cross a threshold into a new space. And change can be really hard, it can be really unsettling, but there's also great possibility in it. When I think about gospel imagination, it is stepping into a new space and imagining not just the past, but what could this look like now? What could this house be filled with? What beauty, what song, what feast we could have. Join us in this new institute as we see what God is doing, what new thing he is making.